Dang, that song about put me to sleep. Good morning, Wanda. Mirvi. Hey, Retro. Preschool Granny made it in. Betty Smith. Mel. Plead the fifth. What's up, girlfriend? Tony B. Bugs Mama. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Rapper made it in. Everybody get some internet hugs to Rapper. Rapper's not doing too good today. His grandma's sick. And, well, we all know how that feels. So let's all give a hug to Rapper. We have another show coming up at noon. There's an update in the Rebecca Park case. And if you missed the show this morning, it was just a pre-recorded and big update on Jack and Lily. And thank you for that reminder to my husband, Just Me. Eyes on the road, Greg. Eyes on the road. 10-2, dude. 10-2. All right, what's the haps? I see there's some snow coming in different places. I know Ange is getting some. They're saying that some places are going to get pounded, but not in a good way. We have a cold front coming through, and I'm not happy about it because I've been really actually enjoying our 70-degree afternoons. How about you? Well, depending on where you're from. Some people may not be having it. So can you believe it's been, now I put 25 years in the title, but it's been almost 25 years since Andrea Yates went psychotic and lost her marbles and killed all of her and Rusty's children. Every now and then I like to do a throwback Thursday of something that we know at one time we were all talking about. And since then, there's been some copycats. Just yesterday, a woman in New Jersey killed both of her children. She was just sitting in her recliner. Husband comes home from work. The boys, ages 5 and 7, are dead. And she's already off the bat claiming postpartum. We have a whole playlist on Lindsay Clancy. At first, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt until I realized it was more of an organized something else going on. This is the case, though. Some people still to this day feel horrible for Andrea. And then some people still say, nah, she should have been in jailed, if you know what I mean. She should have been in jail. I think Rusty is some way, somehow, an accomplice. And we're going to talk about that. Now, there's a new documentary out. You can catch it on Prime. You got to subscribe to HBO Max. I tried to get through it, but it was just a little too creepy for me. Now, remember, at this point, Andrea could honestly leave the institution really anytime she wants, but she's still punishing herself. She does not want to leave. She still feels that she is unsafe to be around people. Too many warnings were given to this couple that were ignored. And by the way, that's on both of them. And well, we know who paid the price. But 2001 was a crazy ass year, man. Had all kinds of shit going on. Everybody during the summer is talking about this woman down in Texas that drowned all her children. Then we had 9/11 happen. We had one thing after another. We were just getting over the election between Gore and Bush. We had a lot of shit going on. And here we are 25 years later, and it's like it was yesterday. Let's take a second and tell everybody good morning. Glad you're here. Hello, Jana. There's my girl, Jenny. What is up? All right, one thing that I think we can all agree on is that Rusty wanted as many kids as he says in his own word that God would allow them to have. He refers to Andrea as his fertile myrtle. Okay, really cute name. Now, he says that she called herself that, but I think we can all figure out that he was the one that kind of gave her that nickname. And I'm talking, she was having one baby after another. She 100% because of this church they went to. And then if you watch the documentary, you know what I'm talking about. It's called The Cult Behind the Killer. I don't think the church has as much to do with the murders of the babies as her illness does. But I also think it could have something to do with it because they put a lot of paranoid thoughts in her head. They truly did. They truly put a lot of paranoid thoughts in her head. And she's not a dumb chick. She's an educated woman, but of course she wants to stay home and be with her babies. Good. She did not want them to be subjected to the outside ways of the world, so they opted on homeschooling. Good. But the outside ways of the world might have been better considering what happened inside the home.
Before September 11th, it was the most horrifying story of the year. 5 children from a middle-class family in Houston, Texas, murdered, drowned one after the other in the bathtub of their home. The oldest was 7, the youngest 6 months. The confessed killer was their mother, Andrea Yates, who is scheduled to go on trial next month. Her case has evoked both rage and sympathy across the country. Why did she do it? No one disputes that she suffered from bouts of postpartum depression with psychosis, a serious mental illness brought on by childbirth and the demands of parenting. Tonight, for the first time, we will hear from Andrea Yates' husband, Rusty Yates, who stands by his wife and says that if she had received competent psychiatric care, their children would be alive today.
She actually had several stints of hospitalization. Write this down. She had several stints of hospitalization. She tried to keep herself a couple of times, and each hospitalization and every doctor they saw said the same thing. Every time she has a child, the postpartum turns into not just a depression. You know, after you have a baby, has anybody ever struggled with it? After, I had my first child, I was just like, oh, my mom called it the baby blues. The baby blues. I mean, I was crying uncontrollably. Of course, other things that are going on downstairs. Your vagina looks like a bowling ball came out of it all of a sudden. You just don't feel the same. Your hair's thin. Your nails are just peeling off. And, you go through a depression. Your hormones are getting back together. The postpartum psychosis, which was described in the trial, is totally different. Oh, there you go, Ange. Oh, that would do it for anyone. The first time you shit after you have a baby, that hurts worse than having the baby. Oh, my gosh. Bringing the bottle home to clean yourself off after you go pee-pee. Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man. But when a doctor says, no, she has what's called postpartum psychosis, and she should not have any more children because it's a very dangerous situation. You know what I mean? But old Rusty didn't care. Hell, he wanted a basketball team. He called her Fertile Myrtle. He bragged to people. He even said, I could spit on her. Spit doesn't do it. I mean, there's a certain type of spit that does it, and she could get knocked up. What a gent.
She has pled not guilty by reason of insanity, but prosecutors say she is a cold-blooded killer who deserves to die for what she did.
It looks like a normal, happy family.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Teresa. Rusty, and this was actually just talked about in the documentary, and he still sits by it. He still sits by it. He did not want her on the medication prescribed. He said because she didn't seem like herself, even though they said give it 6 weeks. I don't know anything about these medications. It's called Haldol. And he also said she had lost her sex drive. She had lost her sex drive. I don't know anything about Haldol. I've never taken it. But I mean, I have a feeling if a doctor told me you need to take it, I would have to suck it down. Suck it down. And the thing is, Rusty still visits Andrea. And word on the street is he's encouraging her to leave the institution because he wants to get back together with her. Okay? That might be a reason that Andrea wants to stay in the institution. All right?
That's right.
By all appearances, the Yates were a normal, happy family until 2 years ago. Soon after the birth of their fourth son, Luke, Andrea began showing signs of depression. Twice in 1999, she tried to kill herself, first from an overdose of sleeping pills, and then, a month later, she took a knife into her bathroom.
She had a knife held up to her neck, and it's like she's looking at her.
Okay, I have to do this because YouTube tells me this is what we call a trigger warning. So if you are having any thoughts about not liking yourself or wanting to be on this planet, please do not watch this show because you're going to hear some very horrific things coming from the father that, by the way, has never showed any emotion, talking about the death, the murder of all of his children by his wife. Okay?
Neck, trying to figure out how to cut herself so that she could successfully kill herself. And I said, give me the knife. And she said, let me do this. And I said, no, give me the knife. And she wouldn't do it. She just stood there like this. So I grabbed her arm and pulled it down, and I pried the knife out of her hand.
The next day, Andrea Yates was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. She was there almost 3 weeks and diagnosed with postpartum depression with psychosis. About 75% of new mothers experience some form of postpartum depression. It's commonly known as the baby blues and usually
I would say it's 100% of women. They experience some form of depression afterwards. Do they become psychotic? No. It's very rare from what I read. And remember, I believe everything I read on the internet, unless it's in the comments section.
fades away in a few weeks. But Andrea Yates fits into a much more severe category that affects less than 1% of women. They may either kill themselves or their children.
See? I knew what I read was right. You hear old Ed Wallace right there. Less than 1% become psychotic.
In a few weeks. But Andrea Yates fits into a much more severe category that affects less than 1% of women. They may either kill themselves or their children. There's no evidence that she abused her children, but during her hospitalization, she described being stressed trying to raise so many young kids, saying it was a big responsibility. I don't want to fail. According to hospital reports, she said she had recurrent obsessive thoughts and that most of them are over our children and how they'll turn out. She was treated with 2 antidepressants and an injection of the antipsychotic drug Haldol.
Where's Ange? I got to put Ange on the spot. Angel P. I want to know how these drugs work in communication with each other. Effexor, injections, and what's the other one? Hang on. When he says she didn't have proper help, she did.
Recurrent obsessive thoughts, and that most of them are over our children and how they'll turn out. She was treated with 2 antidepressants and an injection of the
Wellbutrin, Effexor, and then injections of Haldol. Now, if what I read was correct, and like I say, I believe everything I read on the internet, she was given a daily injection of Haldol. I don't know what that means, but okay.
psychotic drug Haldol. Her husband, Rusty, says the response was remarkable.
Within a day, Andrea went from being completely catatonic to sitting on the couch with me in the visiting area, and we carried on just, I referred to it as the best conversation we've ever had. The thing I learned from it is that she needed the right medicine. When I saw her respond to the medicine at that time, I'm like, wow, there's hope. You know, there's hope that Andrea will return.
How do you respond to those people who said in some of these newspaper articles that you weren't giving her enough time alone, that you were a controlling husband, that you weren't doing enough to try to ease her burden?
Well, they don't know anything. I mean, they don't know us, you know. I mean, we had what I'd call a more traditional family, but to say those things is really, you know, unfair.
For more than a year after she got out of the hospital and was off all medications, by all accounts, life in the Yates family was back to normal. They decided to have another child.
There's the baby in there.
And please be reminded that as she got better, they were still strictly warned that while her medication is working and she is not depressed anymore and she's not having these obsessive thoughts and these intrusive thoughts, they warned, do not have another child because the psychosis has gotten worse with each child. But they decided to have another baby. And this is in December.
Ignoring a doctor's written warning which said that doing so would surely guarantee future psychotic depression.
That's a pretty ominous warning. Did you and Andrea, maybe given the circumstances, say maybe we've had enough kids, we shouldn't have any more?
Well, no, you know, we.
And there she is, our resident nurse I can get a hold of 24/7. So obviously I can't explain this, Ange, but you can. Effexor, Wellbutrin, and a daily injection of Haldol. What is that?
Ooh. Well, you know, good morning.
Morning.
It's frigid here, and I overslept. Okay, so Effexor.
It's good sleeping weather when it's cold like that. Did you get your snow yet, Ange?
We didn't get any snow. The selfish people over to the east did it, got it all, and but our schools are closed because it's so frigid where I live. Frigid, you know, cold. Sorry. Okay, so Wellbutrin and Effexor are both antidepressants, okay? And they're a different type of antidepressant because instead of like Paxil, which is an SSRI, Effexor is a SNRI, so that's not a big deal. But basically, those two are for depression. And then the Haldol is an old antipsychotic, like back in the day when we had the state hospitals, if people were acting up or something, you know, they'd go in there and give them some Haldol or something else to make them be more sedated. Can't find my words this morning. They don't use it that much anymore unless let's say you have somebody that's been on it for a long time and needs to stay on it for whatever reason, because it can cause some really bad side effects.
Mhm.
And I don't know if anybody's ever heard of tardive dyskinesia, but that's where you see people that have been on some of these old antipsychotics, and they might like smack their mouth, lick their lips, their mouth might move funny. Those are involuntary movements that they'll never go away. They might get a little bit better, but that's why they don't use it so much anymore, because it can cause permanent side effects.
Are those the people that like I watched something I don't know if it was on a movie or a documentary about people that get injected with trazodone, and I mean they drool.
Ugh. Yeah, that can be a symptom of that. Yes, it can be increased salivation or whatever they call it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not awake yet. Yeah, but we don't use that a lot anymore, the Haldol. In fact, I'm trying to remember, there was a medicine a long time ago that they used to give a lot of elderly people in nursing homes to make them sleep. And it was something like this or something in the family. And they finally said, no, stop doing it. Thank God. Um, you're not allowed to give that to older people. But yeah, it's a really old one. So somebody that has to be chronically and persistently mentally ill, that's maybe an older person that's been on it for years and years and years and years, and they don't want to change it because right now they're at their baseline. They're doing the best they can, so they won't change it. But
I
back then, yeah,
Okay, so this is 25 years ago, and let's
right,
face it, medicine will be different tomorrow.
right.
Will be different on Monday. Remember, we are their science experiment. True story.
Hmm.
So when I saw the Effexor and the Wellbutrin together, and then she's getting a Haldol injection every day, and then all of these warnings from the doctor, what made them decide to have another baby?
That's very selfish. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know. The husband, I mean, this is just my opinion, but like, to me, it's like common sense and loving somebody that if you've been told and somebody's struggling, I mean, she struggled a lot even after that first baby. So to keep doing that to her, I feel like that's very selfish. And I feel like that, well, I wouldn't say, how would I say it? I don't think that she needed to be subjected to that so many times if that was something that was really throwing her off, especially if she was getting like the baby blues or the postpartum depression. It's kind of like flirting with danger, in my opinion.
Well, actually, they said in the trial she had what's called PPP, which less than 1% of women get, and it's postpartum psychosis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's probably the textbook picture of that because really and truly, a lot of people a lot of people have postpartum depression, but it's a very, very, very minimal margin of the population that actually develops psychosis.
Well, and I think what really got me when I was watching the documentary, and again, I couldn't get through all of it because it was a little too chaotic for me. It was just something I didn't need in my brain, how they were following the teachings of this preacher. They did not believe in birth control, and they didn't believe in any type of birth control. I mean, any. And they believed it was God's right to give you children. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So pull out, Rusty. I mean, they're
Right.
and even when it was suggested that she should have a tubal or he should have a vasectomy, they just absolutely wouldn't even think about it.
Wow.
I mean, just wouldn't even think about it. And this is with her in the bathroom trying to, herself. This is when she almost OD'd on pills. Yeah, I don't get it. But I mean, he says that's only God's right. And we decided when we got married that we would have as many children as God would allow. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it. You can. if you can. I mean, be the Kennedys. I don't care. Have 9, 10, 11, 12. Stack them up.
Yeah. But
But
it seems with something like this happening that would be taken into consideration as well, doesn't it?
mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, look at this part right here.
Back to normal. They decided to have another child.
There's the baby there.
Ignoring a doctor's written warning, which
The doctor's written warning in 1999. If she has another child, she will not be depressed. She will go into psychosis.
said
Wow.
that doing so would surely guarantee
It would surely guarantee future psychotic depression. Now, I don't know what kind of crystal ball that guy had, but he obviously knew what he was talking about because,
Yes,
well,
he did.
we're here and we know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I don't think that's something that you can tell with a blood or a piss test.
I'm really glad that he wrote that down too, though. I mean, you know, that covers him too. That he told Rusty, or he told old Rusty to maybe let it get a little rusty, and he didn't.
No, he didn't. And the thing is, it's a good thing he did because Rusty tried to sue that doctor. And the doctor,
Oh, wow.
You're not suing me for shit because I told you she would become psychotic. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Wellbutrin was just for people trying to quit smoking. I learned something today.
No, it's an antidepressant too, but it's not in the same category. I'm trying to remember. It's not like an SSRI or SNRI. It's different. And yeah, they did give that to people, you know, later on to quit smoking. But Wellbutrin is different. Sometimes it can agitate people that are depressed. What I've seen in my experience is it can agitate people, or it can raise your blood pressure, or it can do other things like that. And it sounds like, I don't know which one was the main antidepressant for her, but so what they were doing was giving her one and then giving her another one to kind of boost the effects of that. But Wellbutrin is not as popular as it used to be either. I mean, there's still people that take it and do very well on it. It just affects people differently.
Well, Dr. Cooper said he quit prescribing it because it actually makes people more agitated and angry.
There you go. He's a very smart man.
Oh, isn't he? I'll tell you what, I swear to God, every time he watches TV, he comes into his office with a new script. No, he's a great doctor.
future psychotic depression.
That's a pretty ominous warning. Did you and Andrea, maybe given the circumstances, say maybe we've had enough kids, we shouldn't have any more?
Well, no. We looked at that and we said, well, this was a very difficult time. But then we said, well, would we rather have not had Luke? I mean, of course, we'd rather have Luke and have gone through that. What we were told is that there was a 50% chance that she would be depressed again if we had another child. And if she got depressed again, she would have the same symptoms as she had in 99, and that the same treatment that worked for her in 99 would work again.
So the question is, why would you want to go through that treatment again? Why would you want to go to a psych ward and get injections of Haldol?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he wasn't the one going through that, was he?
No. And when he said 50-50, what are you talking about? And, that'd be like us not having Luke. Luke's not here, dude. Luke's not here. There's no 50-50. The doctor didn't say that at all. He said guarantee.
Uh-huh.
Guarantee means 100%. T-Walk said, I remember when this happened, how awful Rusty came off. and postpartum psychosis wasn't really known to the general public. I'd never heard of such a thing. My jaw dropped. It
Right.
was really wild for the time because it was
Mm-hmm.
talked about everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
So he's saying in his mind, 50-50. That is not what the doctor said. It's a guarantee she will go into psychosis.
Yeah.
Did anybody read anything different from the doctor's notes as to what I put on the screen? Guarantee she will go into psychosis. And she did.
Yeah.
She went psy-freaking-cotic. And also, after she had their daughter, Mary, I believe her name was, there was no follow-up for depression or anything.
Oh,
But-
really?
No, and like he said, we just figured we would do the same treatment we did before. Oh, okay. It's that easy. After you were told, I guarantee she will go into psychosis.
Within months of Mary's birth, Andrea Yates' depression returned with a vengeance. It was a depression which her husband says led her to murder their children.
So for people who don't understand, I mean, you're supportive of her. You've talked to her, you've seen her, you go to visit her in jail,
Right.
and you support her today. There are
Absolutely.
people who don't understand, who would say, she killed your children, 5 children, her children. How can you be supportive? What do you say to them?
You know, the person that drowned those children is not Andrea. If your brain's sick, then you can think things that aren't real.
So because of that mental illness, you're not angry with her, you don't blame her for what happened?
I don't blame her a bit, and that's people find that just outrageous. I know, but I don't blame her one bit.
He can't blame her because if he blamed her, he would have to blame himself, and he will take zero accountability. See, when you're the person that doesn't have the mental illness diagnosis, then you have to be the, let me put it this way, the captain of the ship. You have to be the one that says, no, 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 no. You see, I'm not getting Haldol putting into my thigh muscle every day. So let me explain it to you. The doctors have said you can't have any more children. But the fact that he says, I don't blame her at all. And when I watched the documentary and they were showing like home movies of the kids, and he was like cackling, laughing. And he's like, oh, he was going to be a linebacker and this and this and this and that. And I'm like, what? He's void of emotion. He's void of emotion. I mean, you got to see it, Ange. You'll shit your pants.
Okay. I can't wait to see it. I mean, I guess back then she thought she had to do what her husband told her or something. I don't know, but he seems very selfish in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, she truly was ill. She truly was ill. And I hate the mental illness excuse after murder. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that women try to use it when they have done something disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in this case, considering the medical evidence, I see why the jury agreed with what the defense was saying. But now the state of Texas, they were looking for the death penalty.
Yeah. Hmm.
And yes, Rusty remarried, had more children, but that chick, she bounced him. I mean, she got rid of him real quick. So this is the attorney about how he came up with the defense after talking to both Rusty and Andrea. And by the way, in 2001, the amount of money he was paid for this defense is still in 2026 a heap of money.
Oh, wow.
Is your husband there? No. Well, what's the problem? Well, I need him to come. I need to know why we're coming, ma'am. Is there standing next to you? Or she? Are you disturbed? Are you ill or what? Yes, I'm ill. You need an ambulance? No, I need a police officer.
We're going to bring you some breaking news now out of the Clear Lake area. Houston police say they were called to check out.
They were like, do you need an ambulance? No, I need a police officer. She told him on the 911 call what she did.
Yeah.
A welfare.
Andrea Yates has not been charged just yet. We do know that within the last couple of hours, it happened in the house you see behind me here. The father is a NASA engineer. Police say while he was at work, his wife drowned their 5 children.
You loved your children.
Yeah, it's not the right way, really.
5 precious children, 1 struggling mother. What Andrea Yates did on June 20th, 2001 inside her home stunned the nation. The then 36-year-old mother called 911 herself to report she had drowned her children. The years that followed were no less dramatic. An overturned conviction based on false testimony and a second trial that sent Andrea to a state hospital where she remains today. All of it shined a light on mental illness and exposed Andrea's demons that led to her children's deaths.
We get a call around 9:30, around about 9:30, 9:35, somewhere around there. A nice clear day, and nice day, and didn't expect that at all, of course, but you never do.
On the morning of June 20th, 2001,
she had breakfast on the table. They were eating cereal.
36-year-old Andrea Yates waited for her husband to leave for work, fed her children breakfast.
I checked, and the milk was cold.
And then one by one took them to the bathroom and drowned them.
I forgot how the call came in. I think it may have just came in as a, respond to the sick call, or I don't think it came in as, I know it didn't come in as a drowning.
John Del Bosque.
I'm the paramedic who pronounced them.
A Houston firefighter, paramedic for 36 years, responded.
There was a police officer that may have beaten me there maybe about 5 minutes before I did. And as he walks out, first thing he says to me is, she killed all of them. And when he said that, I had no idea. I thought maybe mom, dad, husband, family, no idea what he meant by that. So I walked in, and that's when I found the 4 kids in the bedroom, all lined up. She had covered them. She didn't cover their heads, just up to their neck, and you can see all their faces. And they looked like, to me, they looked like little porcelain dolls.
4 children, 5-year-old John, 3-year-old Paul, 2-year-old Luke, and 6-month-old Mary, who was cradled in John's arm, all dead.
This is a lot.
Oh my God. Can you imagine that poor fellow having to work and see all that? That's so traumatic. Oh my God.
I couldn't imagine. He's like, I've been a paramedic for 36 years. I'm here. And I mean, the police are like, she killed them all. He was like, he couldn't wrap his head around it. He couldn't fathom it. And he's like, and she had them all lined up, and she had them like covered up to their neck.
Wow.
Like they were sleeping. And when they got in there, she even told them, don't wake the babies. And they're like, what? What?
Yeah.
And I forgot that she had 2 trials. I forgot that she did, because the first trial, I believe, was a hung jury.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't they say that her covering them up and stuff showed concern for them in some warped way? I don't know. That's just, I mean, oh my God, I can't even talk right now. That's just overwhelming.
See, and I'm still on the fence after all these years, after all the warnings from doctors saying, okay, because after she had Luke, that's when she goes into this depression. Okay, everything was fine with the other children. Don't have any more children because you will go into psychosis.
Yeah.
So listen, you're doing better. You got through this postpartum depression. Okay. And you actually turned into postpartum psychosis because let's not forget, she took a bunch of pills and Rusty had to take a knife away from her and they had to put her in the hospital for a while. And that's when she got the Effexor, the Wellbutrin, and started getting the Haldol shots. So then in their infinite wisdom, they said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and have another baby. And if this happens again, she's just going to take the same treatment she did before because, well, I mean, nothing really happened at the end of the day with Luke. I mean, they were playing with fire is what they were doing, him and her both. But
Absolutely.
I'm on the fence about, okay, so, I mean, I know that she's institutionalized and that she could really leave anytime she wants. I still think that she should serve some real time.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. When things like this happen and somebody has some type of illness like this or whatever, and then instead of being put in jail, they put them in a mental health facility or an institution. I don't think that's right that after so many years they should get out, because if they'd gone to prison, they wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I look at the case of Cash Gurnan. DB, they got him stable to where he understood what he did, and now he's served time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she's still playing cards and shuffling around and eating lunch with Rusty. The fuck, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he still sees her quite often.
And you got to remember, if you've got psychosis, if somebody's got psychosis, they are out of touch with reality.
Mm-hmm.
That would explain her saying, don't waste the babies. Because, see, I've never been psychotic, thank God. But, I mean, when people are psychotic, they can't even remember what they did sometimes, okay? Because you're out of touch with reality. It's like you can't tell what's real and what's not real. You may have voices that you hear, you may have things that you see, it's just really bad. I'm not excusing her behavior by any means.
No, nobody is. But I mean, Rusty, here she is with this psychosis and taking all of this medicine, and she's institutionalized, and he goes to her and, they're having lunch, and talking about old times, which is what he says they do when they get together. What a thing to bring up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd be like me calling up Ange, and just reminiscing over the worst day of her life. Hey, Ange, remember this? No.
Right.
But that same day, he told her that he had met someone else and he wanted her permission to get married.
Oh, Lord. I think he's a little cuckoo, too. There you go, Miss Sarah. Cuckoo.
I know. And I'm just like, holy shit. Now, if this had just come out of nowhere and there was no doctor involved, there was no Haldol involved, there was no hospitals involved, I might give her a little more of a break. But there was ample warning.
Oh, yeah, they told her. They told them everything. This is going to happen. You need to have a table. You need to have a vasectomy. But Rusty thought that he knew better than that.
He flat out said, as long as God is giving us children, that's for God to decide. Well, we have doctors for a reason.
Right.
And the doctors, they study and they go to school, and they're not engineers like Rusty. And they say, no, you should not have more children. Matter of fact, you should have a tubal ligation. I'm talking burnt ends and all. Nothing can be redone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's hard for people to say, oh, well, she had, mental illness or she was psychotic. because nowadays, after that diagnosis started, let's just say that throughout the years, people have really used that as an excuse for different things.
Mhm.
And we've covered several trials, such as that Lindsay lady
Mhm.
that said, she had it too. And look at the difference in the behaviors and all the stuff, all the things, like in just me, myself, and I truly believe that she did have that. I'm not saying she shouldn't be held accountable, but I do believe that she truly is a true textbook case of postpartum psychosis.
And and that was proven in court. That was proven in court. I still think that, considering this didn't just come out of nowhere. She already had bouts of it after having Luke, and then after Mary, exactly what the doctor said would happen happened. That's why I think, considering she was warned, and so was Rusty, now that she's better, she probably needs to serve her time.
Oscar thought they had been poisoned. 7-year-old Noah was still in the bathroom.
As I was walking out, I saw a trail of water. And when I saw the trail of water, I kind of followed it, and it led into the bathroom. And that's where I saw the oldest child. I believe that was Noah, if I can remember correctly. And he was still in the bathtub, face down. He was just bobbing in the water. That's when I realized she drowned him. So yeah, that was that day. Seeing 5, deceased kids, babies, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to see that. So yeah, it's probably, obviously it was my worst call, I think. Yeah.
It happened in
For
the
most
house
of us,
you
this
see
is unimaginable.
behind me.
Oh, it was everywhere. It was everywhere, and nobody could understand it. I had little boys at the time. And when she said that she had to do this because God told her, because her children were becoming demons. Well,
I forgot about that part. Yep, she did, didn't she?
She felt the children were going to become demons. Great memory, Betty Smith.
Yeah.
Great memory. Now, some people be like, well, so did Lori Vallow. Well, Lori Vallow doesn't have postpartum psychosis. Lori Vallow is a demon.
Media and more police descended on the 900 block of Beachcomber in Clear Lake, Texas, southeast of Houston.
Killed her children.
The children's father, Rusty Yates, rushed home. Del Bosque remembers his brief conversation with the woman whose actions would dominate headlines.
She was on the couch, sitting on the couch, and I believe that officer had her in handcuffs, and she was just sitting on the couch, just kind of glaring at the wall, real like in a gaze, like, hey, just like a little zombie, just had no clue what she did, because she had no tears or anything like that. And we made small talk. She had a bus out back, and I asked her, well, I really didn't ask her. I go, man, there's a bus out back. And she said, yeah, we used to live in it.
Andrea and Rusty, a NASA engineer, were married in 1993. Children soon followed. They moved from the converted bus to this modest home after Luke was born. Andrea homeschooled them. Her mental state was deteriorating.
Oh, wow. You know what? I don't understand. Oh, my God. I forgot he was a NASA engineer. Good Lord.
Big bucks deluxe. He still works for him, too.
Damn.
Big bucks deluxe. But they lived in that bus to save money as they were going to school.
Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, Boston. She said, hey, y'all. But no, that's how they kept down their educational financing.
I just feel like that, if I had a family member like that, well, first of all, I wouldn't be in this situation. There's just no way that I can think I would be. But why did he not? He knew what was going on. Why did he not have somebody stay with her at the very least? Come on. Just to keep an eye on things or to help her out. I don't know. That just seems kind of negligent on his part to know that she was struggling like that. And then he just left her there by herself to deal with all that. And then on top of that, can you imagine trying to homeschool all these kids? I mean, if
And
she's very,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
oh,
ahead.
it's okay. If she's so low functioning like that and has all those spells, I mean, did the thought never enter his mind that, she might try to harm herself or something might happen while he wasn't there with her? I mean, that's just crazy.
He said it plain and simple. It's all in God's hands. Now, let me explain something about Andrea. She's no dum-dum. She's a nurse. She knows what hell is. She knows what Butryn
Oh, my God. Yeah.
She knows what Effexor is. She knows what they're telling her. She knows why she became catatonic. She understands everything that the doctor was telling her. And you know what's really scary is after their, the last child they had, they were going to continue to have more.
Wow.
And I mean, and there's a lot of women that have a lot of kids and they homeschool them and they do it successfully. They don't have what she has.
Exactly.
And that freako they were following. Wow. Wait till you see the documentary.
Moved from the converted bus to this modest home after Luke was born, Andrea homeschooled them. Her mental state was deteriorating. In 1999, she had a mental breakdown, overdosed, and was hospitalized, the first of 4 hospitalizations in 2 years. One doctor advised against having more children. Then Mary came in late 2000.
I said, "Is anyone hurt?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Who?" And she said, "The children."
Rusty quickly faced the cameras. A day after he lost all of his children, he clutched a family photo and voiced his support for Andrea.
She loved those kids.
Read up as much as I possibly could about women's mental health.
George Parnham had been hired as her attorney hours earlier, a referral from a lawyer who knew her family.
I just knew what it was about, so I hesitated to call him back. In the back of my mind, knowing that this would be a mind-changing event in my.
And he's right. Parnham changed things for the legal system forever. Because he said, I hesitated because I know what my defense is going to be, but it's going to change things. And the Yates case has changed a lot of stuff when women go to court for killing their children. Because my jaw was on the floor when I heard that was the defense. I was like, what? We all get depressed after having a baby. We don't drown them.
No. Overwhelmed, right? And a little down in the dumps is a little bit different than full-blown postpartum psychosis. And it's no wonder that I'm not trying to be ugly, but I'm just really looking. I know I keep talking about him a lot, but I just feel like he should have known better, seeing everything that was going on. I mean,
he's a freaking engineer. And she's a nurse. And they had many doctors telling them, this is what's going on. She can't have any more children. After Luke, no more. Well, we decided to have another child, and we just said that, if something happens, she'll just take the same treatment. It's really on both of them. But Rusty being, and I'm not saying this callously, I'm not saying this rudely, being, in air quotes, the sane one, he should have stepped up and said, no. We have too many warnings.
Yes.
And everybody knew the issues. Her parents knew, her siblings knew, his parents knew, their church knew, everybody knew. Everyone knew. It was not a secret.
See, I don't understand that. I'm sorry.
But I did. And I was right. And The next morning at 7:30, Andrea's mother, her two brothers, came into my office, hired me, and 20 years later, here we are talking about her.
Parham was not only her attorney, but a staunch advocate, and now like family.
She's like my daughter. Yep.
He educated himself about women's mental health and postpartum depression and went on the interview circuit.
It was important for me to try to level the playing field.
He remembers his first interaction with Rusty. It was at the Harris County Jail.
I feel a tap on the shoulder. It's Rusty. And he stuck out his hands and he said, well, I guess it's welcome to the team. You know, with a big grin on his face.
Okay, so her mother and the two brothers came in to hire him. Now, what he's not saying is they brought a cashier's check for $80,000. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's big money in 2006, and it was extra big money in 2001. Okay. But when he said Rusty came strolling in, going, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. And I'm sure the attorney was thinking, I won't be able to use you in this. But he wound up doing it.
Wow. That's bizarre.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, $80,000 for 2 trials is actually kind of a bargain deal, but it was actually a lot more money than that. That was just what they brought in initially.
To try to level the playing field.
He remembers his first interaction with Rusty. It was at the Harris County Jail.
I feel a tap on the shoulder. It's Rusty. And he stuck out his hands and he said, well, I guess it's welcome to the team. You know, with a big grin on his face. And here this guy just lost his children, you know.
Parham met Andrea that same day.
The depths of her illness was overwhelming to me. I remember so well looking and at her, and she had no pupils in her eyes. She didn't know why she needed a lawyer. She believed that
she had no pupils in her eyes. Rusty said, he tapped him on the shoulder, said, well, welcome to the team. Now, Rusty, when you watch the documentary, he wanted her out of jail because he wanted to continue having children.
Oh my God.
No, he did.
I want to hit my head on the wall with him.
Yeah, he did. He told Oprah that. I don't know if it's in the documentary or not. He told Oprah that he stood by her side because he wanted her to get out of jail, come home to him, and they were going to fix this whole situation. He was going to watch her better, and they were going to have more children.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Now, where's this documentary at you keep talking about? Is it something they're going to put on Netflix?
It's on Prime, girlfriend.
Amazon Prime. Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime, and I think it's on, you have to do the HBO Max. Now, let me tell you a little secret, okay? Can everybody keep a secret? We have 127 people in here. We better have 127 likes. You can subscribe to something, and you get it for free to watch a shit you want on Prime. And then when you get done watching your shit, you turn off the subscription. I do it successfully often, okay?
Ooh, thanks for the tip there, girlie.
You promise not to tell anybody?
I promise.
All right. Do you promise, Sister Karen? Mirvi? Susan? Chrissy? Yeah. It is quite a watch, not going to lie. And it really puts a lot of stuff together. And all you're going to do is scream at the TV and go, fuck you, Rusty. Fuck you, Rusty.
Yeah.
Satan lived within her. She believed that Satan lived within her, and she, for the benefit of mankind, wanted to be executed, so that the ruler, as it is so stated in the Bible, and realistically it's the governor of Texas, right, could execute Satan. And therefore she would be able to save the world from Satan.
In interviews with police, Andrea said she killed her children.
Now, this is described in the documentary, how she believed that Satan lived within her, and she was saving her children so they could go be with Jesus, and that she believed that the earth is actually hell. And after watching what parts of it I did, because I was getting too mad, and I'm one of those people, when something irritates me, I find something else to watch. You know, I watch someone making potato soup or something. So I'm just kind of like, well, if it wasn't for all the medical documentation talking about postpartum psychosis, then I would just say, no, she's just crazy, man. She's just fucking crazy.
You know, it's very common sometimes when people are psychotic, though, that they have this hyper religious focus. But I mean, obviously, it sounds like Rusty didn't genuinely believe in what the doctors were saying. You know, he had more of the religious focus on it.
And
which is
what it's I mean, it's insane how many people seek medical help and then they throw it out the window. We've talked about the Nick Reiner situation. How many times Rob Reiner said, no, I know my son better than someone with a degree. Well, Rob Reiner was murdered, and so was his wife, brutally.
Right.
Rusty, in his mind, Mr. Head of the household, king of the castle. He wanted her out of jail, and they were going to start all over. I mean, he flat out said he knows his children, they are with Jesus, but he's going to watch her more. Watch her more? You don't
think you had an undiagnosed problem there, girl.
Do what?
I said, I think he might have had an undiagnosed issue as well. Good Lord, that's ridiculous.
Because she was not a good mother. She told a county psychiatrist she wanted to save them from Satan.
Why would Satan want you to do something that saved the children? Scared. Because the act would condemn you. Satan was interested in you and not the children.
There's no question but that, you know, Andrea's world at that time was her psychotic state. And when you're in a depths of psychosis, you make decisions based on that world that may otherwise not be an appropriate call.
A jury would eventually hear the case. Was Andrea Yates a murderer or just a very ill woman?
Either she knew right from wrong or she did not. And that's what we accomplished in the first trial, what we tried to do in the second trial.
Andrea Yates was unlike any.
Now, this says 20 years later. We know it's 25 years later now. Okay. Old stuff. Old news, they say. So, I mean, the first trial, the thing is they seem to more agree with the state of Texas, but the second trial, they were like, no, she's truly sick. I wonder what changed people's minds. And I think it comes down to what I call the water cooler talk. You know, people get their People magazine and they read about it. and they're like, ooh, maybe she is really sick.
Yeah. Something had to change.
Ooh, Lisa. She said they were involved in the same cult as the Duggars. I did not know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Damn, Lisa.
Wow.
Shit. Damn Encyclopedia Lisa. I didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
Woo.
Defendant accused of such horrific crimes. She was the valedictorian of her high school class, the captain of her swim team. She was a nurse, a mother. 8 days after their deaths, the Yates children were buried, 5 little coffins, a stunning sight.
With 5 hearses parked outside, mourners filled the Clear Lake Church of Christ to hear Rusty Yates talk about his children. Flowers draped the white caskets holding the bodies of Noah, John, Paul, Luke, and baby Mary. Rusty described in great detail each child's personality and leaned on his strong faith to help him through. He did not mention his wife, Andrea Yates, who remained in jail on 24-hour suicide watch. Legal strategies were already being formed.
I think the jury, looking at Andrea, can't imagine how a sane mother would do what Andrea did. And so I think going in, there was a level basis for insanity.
Andrea had attempted suicide twice, was admitted to psychiatric hospitals, and treated for postpartum depression and psychosis before the drownings. Early on, her attorney, George Parnham, revealed he was considering an insanity defense. A judge issued a gag order. There were questions about whether the state would seek the death penalty. The following February, her case went to trial.
Our strategy basically was to focus the jury's attention on the law, both the.
Okay. Did anybody pick up on the mannerisms of Rusty at the funeral, going by, touching all the caskets? And they have, 5 different, burial plots. 5 tiny little white caskets. And Andrea, she can really get out anytime she wants, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, Lord.
Every time they bring it up to her, she just says no, she wants to stay where she's at. Rusty wants her to get out. And then I look at it this way and I'm like, well, what would you rather do? Stay in the institution or go get more 2 humps and a bear down from Rusty? Because, let's face it, she can still have children.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that attorney, though. Imagine that's an overwhelming case. And then back in the day when all this happened, like you said earlier, there was not a lot of education or knowledge about this type of diagnosis. He had a lot to take on, in his defense of her.
And they paid big bucks to Lux to get experts from all over, which just baffled the jury's mind. With what postpartum depression after Luke, made her do, as in the 2, check out of the planet attempts, the OD and the knife in the bathroom. And then they also talked about how it escalated after the last baby to psychosis. And it's almost like her and Rusty are dating. He sees her frequently. Okay.
To this day?
To this day, girlfriend. To
wow.
this day.
Yeah, the best thing for her would be to stay away from him, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. He even brought something up about how her having her eggs frozen and stuff like that. Both of them, because I'm not going to make Andrea Yates out to be a victim. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have postpartum psychosis? Yep. Was she warned? Yep. Was she given medication? Yep. Is she a nurse? Yep. She
She was
ignored.
a nurse? I thought you said her mom was a nurse.
Her mom is too.
Oh, shoot.
Well, Andrea is a nurse. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Wow.
Just Me said she's in her 60s. Listen, if Prayer Garden can have a baby, anyone can. Son of a bitch. Come on. I got so many people fighting with me about Prayer Garden having a baby, and I'm just like, go with it. Just go with it.
Common sense definitions and how they correlated with the scientific definitions, and to make it a case that was simply, did she know right from wrong?
That was all the state had to prove. Experts agreed that Andrea, with a history of mental illness, suffered from postpartum depression and schizophrenia, but defense and prosecution witnesses disagreed about how severe her illness was or whether it kept her from knowing right from wrong.
We, the jury.
In March, she was convicted. The state wanted death. The jury sentenced her to life in prison.
I want to know why nobody was there with Andrea.
After the verdict, her family said Rusty shared some responsibility. She had little help at home and was in a downward spiral, they said.
I said she is in no condition to be left alone or to drive.
And his reaction?
He just did what he wanted to do.
Testimony revealed Andrea's doctor discontinued the strong antipsychotic medication Haldol just 16 days before she killed her children.
Obviously very disappointed in.
Okay, so 16 days before she murdered all the children, okay? She was put back on Haldol.
Yeah.
It was suggested to Crusty Rusty, that somebody needs to watch her. His own mother said, Rusty just kind of shook it off and said, no, she's fine. So does anyone think that maybe Rusty might have some blood on his hands?
I do.
Ange does.
Andrea's doctor discontinued the strong antipsychotic medication Haldol just 16 days before she killed her children.
Obviously very disappointed in the verdict.
Rusty was never charged. He filed for divorce in 2004.
Our family, we all stand behind Andrea.
I'm Tom Cook.
In 2005, more than 2 years into Andrea's life sentence, a bombshell.
Said to be shocked but happy today when she heard that her conviction had been overturned.
Okay, let me explain the divorce between Rusty and Andrea. Okay? He was visiting her frequently. Okay, now remember, she was found guilty and he was upset by the verdict. And he was visiting her often, and he asked for permission to marry this woman that he had met. Now, mind you, this bitch has already curb stomped him to the curb. She don't want nothing to do with his crazy ass anymore. And he explained to her that he was going to get a divorce through the church. So when they say file for divorce, he was given permission by Andrea and their minister for him to move on and continue what he called God's flock. They're fucked in the head, Ange.
Oh my God, yes. Goodness gracious.
They're fucked in the head. You want to come see me in the jail after killing all your kids, ask for permission for anything? You got a problem, dude. I mean, could you imagine? I'd just be skedaddling down the road going crazy ass bitch. Think I'm gonna put down all this money? He really thought she was gonna walk out and they were gonna continue to have a family. He really thought that. He has made it clear. I'm not trying to get inside of his head. This is what he thought.
Right. And probably part of that religious influence that, there's a lot of, I hate to talk about religion. I'm more of a spiritual person, but, with part of those religious cults, depending on what they believe in, it's kind of like he's the head of the household and what he says goes, no matter what. Okay. He took that to the extreme.
The extremists, like Boston said on the show yesterday, extremists. I enjoy going to church.
Oh yeah.
It's like, when I go to church, I'm just going to use a metaphor. It's like when I go to Planet Fitness, I get what I get out of it and I leave the rest behind. You know what I mean? When I go to Planet Fitness, I don't push weights. I don't do all the other stuff. I use what I use and I learn and I go on. Same with church. Okay. I understand when they're talking about the book of Exodus, it doesn't apply to 2026. But some people get so in their own minds, they become so extreme that they're dangerous AF. And Rusty's one of them.
I'm surprised that he let her stay on the medications, to be honest with you.
He told her to get him off of them because he didn't like her not having a sex drive. And he also said her vagina was dry.
Oh, my God.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah, sometimes people that are really, really intelligent, like book smart, have no common sense, in my experience.
Well, I can tell you right now, I would never take a rocket to Mars, knowing that Rusty is an engineer for NASA.
Right.
Goodness, and we're like 10 years away from that, where people can actually book a trip to go into outer space. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Not this old girl. I want my feet on the earth.
No, thank you. I'll stick with Southwest Airlines. Thank you. Yeah. Drink my Bloody Mary and eat my free peanuts. I'm good. Freako.
2004.
Our family, we all stand behind Andrea.
I'm Tom Cook.
In 2005, more than 2 years into Andrea's life sentence, a bombshell.
Said to be shocked but happy today when she heard that her conviction had been overturned.
We took it all the way up.
An appeals court overturned Andrea's capital murder convictions and ordered a new trial. Joe Ombie, now retired and living in Kentucky, was the lead prosecutor.
Park Dietz was our expert on the first case, and he was very well known nationally. And he testified that one of the law and order programs had run a program which basically paralleled the situation we were in. And we also had a tidbit of information which we'll
get at that in a second. Whether the Deceit said, my husband is a carpenter and he's always saying that the engineers are always making the dumbest mistakes. Ever seen those Mensa people? Oh, they're so damn smart. It's a wonder. I mean, they are. They have very, very high IQ. They are. If you give them something and you say, hey, can you put this cabinet up for me? It's like, how many pole locks does it take to put in a light bulb? They're running into themselves. They don't even know how to do anything. Can they read a book and recite? Yeah, they can. And that's Rusty. That is Rusty.
One thing, I don't want to jump ahead of you, but one thing I'm curious about is where she's at now. You said that, she was eligible to come out if she wanted or whatever, but reckon she's still on any psychiatric meds?
Well, she's institutionalized. I'm just going to guess she is.
Yeah.
And she comes up every year, to get back out. And every time she says no. I think they've been trying to let her out since like 2018.
Right. Maybe they need to pay attention to that when she says no. Come on. Yep.
So they go back to trial. they got an appeal, and that's when she got out of jail and she went to the institution.
One of the law and order programs had run a program which basically paralleled the situation we were in. And we also had a tidbit of information which we was involved in a case that Andrea Yates habitually watched Law and Order. Park Dietz testified that there had been an episode that kind of paralleled the events that we were trying, and that turned out not to be correct. It was a surprise to me when the testimony came, surprising for one reason, because I had not asked the question and did not expect it to be part of either the direct or the cross-examination. Turned out to be false. Sometime later, during the appeal, the case was overturned because of the incorrect statement.
Thank goodness Dr. Dietz did what he did.
The next year, Andrea entered a not guilty by reason of insanity plea. Judge Belinda Hill granted her a $200,000 bond, but only if she checked herself into Rusk State Hospital in East Texas. George Parnham took a quick detour to his law partner, Wendell Odom's ranch.
I get Andrea and she goes to the fence and the cows are there, right? Wendell's cows. And she pats one on the head, and we get back in the car, and I take her to Rusk. A lot of people don't know that until now.
In June 2006, Andrea was back in Houston for a
And bless the attorney, because he's become like a father to her, because he knows what's wrong with her. He knows how crazy Rusty is. He knows that doctor's orders weren't followed. He knows that her mother, Rusty's mother, several people were saying, we're supposed to be there to watch her after she has the baby. And Rusty kept saying no. And once he got everything overturned and they said, okay, she gets $200,000 bond. And he calls his law partner, who I'm assuming is who put it up, and took her to the state hospital. I mean, he really is a good dude, if you want to know the truth.
That's what I was going to say. He seems like a really nice fella. I don't know if this helps people or not, and it's not the same thing. But like if you've ever dealt with somebody that's an alcoholic and they go into a blackout and then they say, oh, I don't even remember doing any of the stuff. Okay, that's kind of like psychosis, except it doesn't necessarily go away. Does that make sense? Okay.
second trial. Now 42, she often stared blankly during testimony. Her family was always in attendance. Rusty, now her ex-husband, was there too. A month later, and after 13 hours of deliberations, a jury found that Andrea was insane when she drowned her children and acquitted her of capital murder.
Mental health, I think, has been addressed. That's so important.
Andrea was ordered to a state mental hospital in Kerrville on the edge of the Texas Hill Country, has been home for more than a decade.
She's where she wants to be. She's where she needs to be. And, I mean, hypothetically, where would she go? What would she do?
Here at Kerrville State Hospital, Andrea attends group therapy and one-on-one counseling. She has a job. There are no bars or barbed wire. A green line shows patients the boundaries. Parnham still talks to her on the phone and sometimes visits. In not guilty by reason of insanity, the court has jurisdiction for as long as her sentence would have been. In Andrea's case, that's the rest of her life. She comes up for review every year. Parnham says she has waived it every single time.
I think she's...
Now let's discuss this. Every time they've told her, you're free to go, she's waived leaving.
Mm-hmm. Which is not the norm that we would normally see, right?
Right.
I think she feels safe and secure there.
Yeah,
You know,
it
if if you've got a structured environment and you're taking medicines and everything is controlled, then that's less overwhelming, perhaps, than facing reality, the real world. And so she just feels maybe more secure there.
I mean, on one, she's punishing herself, but on the other hand, also, she said she's scared to leave. She said she's scared of what she'll do if she's not in that environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that she's going to get out and start killing people, but she doesn't know. I mean, just because someone tells you you have high blood pressure and here's your medicine, that doesn't mean you're going to take it.
Right.
Just because someone tells you you have diabetes and here's your insulin doesn't mean you're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she knows that once she feels good, she doesn't take her medication, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Afraid and concerned about being in a community. Certainly, her notoriety and the issues that she brings will cause people to have harshness toward her.
He says she's gotten death threats. Even 20 years later, they've never talked about that day.
Why go there? You know, there's no reason for that.
At 80 years old, George Parnham is still practicing law.
This is a case that will always be in my frontal lobe.
He has supported the Yates Children Memorial Fund to educate people on women's mental health. Andrea's case has brought awareness to mental illness.
This is such a major part of my legal existence. Not only her case, but the aftermath of cases like hers. And I just want juries to understand the mindset, right? That's critical.
Rusty Yates did not respond to our requests for an interview. He still lives in the Houston area. He has one child from a second marriage and is now divorced. Andrea is now 56 years old. She has spent almost a third of her life institutionalized. George Parnham says she is happy. All of the couple's children, if they had survived, would have been in their 20s. Parnham still visits the children's graves and often...
Oh my gosh, I can't look at this. Oh!
Yeah, that's just so overwhelming to even look at. You know, I just can't.
Oh. And you know why the second wife left Rusty? Because he kept wanting to have more children.
Dang. He needs to calm down.
Yeah.
Gracious.
Who's he think he is? Fucking Moses?
Right?
Son of a bitch.
Often gets asked what he hopes for Andrea. His answer is simple. Whatever makes her comfortable. 20 years later, he remembers her first words to him.
She leaned forward. And she said, whispered something, and I had to lean forward to hear what she said. And she said, please don't leave me alone.
We, the jury, find
and
that
that's,
Andrea P. Yates
and I have it.
not guilty by reason of insanity.
Man.
Wow.
Man, Rusty, come on. When, the doctors are telling you she should have no more children because she will definitely go into psychosis. And he's like, but that'd be like us not wanting Luke. Well, you have Luke. Luke. You had 4 beautiful children. I'm not saying Mary wasn't beautiful, but she had 4 beautiful children. And she was doing better. She was getting through it. And then, he said they decided to have another child. Okay. And then we see what happened. He goes to see her in 2004. because he said that, he had met somebody and they hadn't consummated anything because that's against the Bible. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And he said he asked for permission, to divorce so he could get married. And she said, yes, please. And so he gets married. They have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Then next thing you know, that lady's like, no, I'm having one child and that's it.
And then she left him.
Oh, she did. But I mean, he's still very involved in his child's life. He's very involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it was his wife also didn't want the Andrea situation brought up anymore. It seemed to be kind of like rubbed in her face all the time. Well, Andrea used to do this, and Andrea used to do this, and Andrea homeschooled, and Andrea, and there's she going, look, dude, I have a job, okay? I take care of the house. Don't compare me to that fucking nutbag. It'd be like the first time you make dinner for your husband that says, my mom didn't make it this way. Well, then go see your fucking mama.
Right.
God, are you freaking kidding me?
He's just awful.
He is. He really is. And he wants all the fair breaks that anyone can give him, but goodness. I can't get over it. And I don't believe for a minute that the medical society let her down. They ignored all the doctor's orders.
Absolutely.
And this happened. Nobody with a sane mind would do this. Now, my question is, why did the medication stop? Because after she had Mary, she went back on the Wellbutrin, Effexor, and Haldol. So why did the medication stop? You know why? Because he said she didn't have a sex drive. And when he would just get to pump her here and there, her vagina was dry. I'm like, come on, man.
Wow.
So this is better. 5 children are dead as opposed to you getting some Trojan gel.
Right. That's just crazy. Goodness gracious. I mean, he's cuckoo too. I'm sorry, but he's a cuckoo. I can't understand a normal, supportive, loving husband wanting to endure this, or wanting her to endure it, or even wanting the children to go through it. Goodness gracious!
I'm telling you, it's absolutely insane, and it's crazy that this happened. And we all were sitting there watching it, and I'm like, hang the bitch. You gotta be kidding me. Don't want to hear about freaking moods and depression and her NASA engineer not doing enough for her and her plate is stacked up. I'm sitting there going, I'm doing all this shit by myself. I'm mowing the lawn, taking care of 3 boys. I'm going to work. I'm doing everything myself. What are you talking about stacked up?
Right.
Then it comes, the second trial. And then there's Rusty in the court. And he's like, oh, but I already divorced her. And this time she could get out. He's a nut.
Bruno's trying to talk to Chrissy. I wish he'd stop. Excuse that.
Bruno. Chrissy's bothering Bruno.
Chrissy's bothering I can see a woman being on the jury and being like, oh my God, she had to be out of her mind to do this to her children. Now, if I was on the jury, now I wasn't obviously, but if I was on the jury, I can go with okay, she was insane. She was psychotic, but in all honesty, I wouldn't be able to, I'm not sure how I would feel about where she should end up because of that, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, the second jury, the first jury said that, life in prison, no parole, but they were not going to go for the death penalty because there was the underlying factor of the postpartum. And then when it came out about law and order and all that other stuff, they did it again. And I got to sneeze. Hold on. Bless me. And then they were like, no, she doesn't need to be in jail. She needs to be in an institution, where she still is, in the big hills outside of San Antonio. And that's her home now. And I think she's going to see him again in June, and they're going to tell her you're free to go, but she's not going to go. I mean, I would rather stay there and drink the Kool-Aid than go fuck around with Rusty again, because he's going to be the first one right there picking her up.
Yeah, she best stay away from him. Maybe that is part of it too. He's part of why she doesn't want to be out there. Maybe that could all be true.
No, her attorney, who goes and visits her and talks to her on the phone and everything, and that old codger, like I said, he's 80 years old now. He's just like, that's where she feels safe. So, woo, what to do? But anyway, this was a good Throwback Thursday. Tough to take in, but we have a short update coming up in about an hour and a half. So you'll get you some lunch and enjoy. And let's have a big round of applause for our nurse on demand, Angel P. And thank you to the Mod Squad and everyone who comes in for all the right reasons. And you are the best, and so are all of you. So I will see you back here.
You guys are, yes, absolutely.
I will see you guys back here in about an hour and a half. We're going to do an update on those nasty ass people in the Rebecca Park case.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Long time.